Chapter 19, a description of the island of Jambudvip. Text 1. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Sri Sukdev Goswami said, "My dear king, in Kimpopurusa Varsha, the great devotee Hanumanji is always engaged with the inhabitants of that land in devotional service to Lord Sri Ramchandra, the elder brother of Lakshman and dear husband of Sita Devi. A host of Gandharvas is always engaged in chanting the glories of Lord Sri Ramchandra. That chanting is always extremely auspicious. Hanumanji and Arti Sena, the chief person in Kim Purusa Varsa, constantly hear those glories with complete attention. Hanumanji chants the following mantras. Let me please your lordship by chanting the Beej mantra Omkara. I wish to offer my respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, who is the best among the most highly elevated personalities. Your lordship is the reservoir of all the good qualities of Aryans, people who are advanced. Your character and behavior are always consistent, and you always control your senses and mind, acting just like an ordinary human being. You exhibit extremely a character to teach others how to behave. There is a touchstone that can be used to examine the quality of gold, but you are like a touchstone that can verily all good qualities. You are worshipped by Brahmanas, who are the foremost of all devotees. You, the Supreme Person, are the King of Kings, and therefore I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. The Lord, whose pure form, Sachidananda Vigraha, is uncontaminated by the modes of material nature, can be perceived by pure consciousness. In the Vedanta, he is described as being one without a second. Because of his spiritual potency, he is untouched by the contamination of material nature, and because he is not subjected to material vision, he is known as transitional. He has no material activities, nor has he a material form, has name. Only in pure consciousness, Sri Krishna consciousness, can one perceive the transitional form of the Lord. Let us be firmly fixed at the lotus feet of Lord Sri Ramchandra, and let us offer our respectful obeisances unto those transitional lotus feet. It was ordained that Ravan, chief of the Rakshasas, could not be killed by anyone but a man, and for this reason, Lord Sri Ramchandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared in the form of a human being. Lord Sri Ramchandra's mission, however, was not only to kill Ravan, but also to teach mortal beings that material happiness center around sex life or center around one's wife is the cause of many miseries. He is the self sufficient Supreme Personality of Godhead, and nothing is lamentable for him. Therefore, why else could he be subjected to tribulations by the kidnapping of Mother Sita? Since Lord Sri Ramchandra is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva is not attached to anything in this material world. He is the most beloved super soul of all self realized souls, and he is their very intimate friend. He is full of all opulences. Therefore, he could not possibly have suffered because of separation from his wife, nor could he have given up his wife and Lakshman. his younger brother. To give up either would have been absolutely impossible. One cannot establish a friendship with the Supreme Lord Sri Ramchandra on the basis of material qualities such as one's birth in an aristocratic family, one's personal beauty, one's eloquence, one's sharp intelligence, or one's superior race or nation. None of this qualification is actually a prerequisite for friendship with Lord Sri Ramchandra. Otherwise, how is it possible that, although we uncivilized inhabitants of the forest have not taken noble births, although we have no physical beauty, and although we cannot speak like gentlemen, Lord Sri Ramchandra has nevertheless accepted us as friends. Therefore, whether one is a demigod or a demon, a man or creature other than man, such as beast or bird, everyone should worship Lord Sri Ramchandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appears on this earth just like a human being. There is no need of great austerities or penances to worship the Lord, for he accepts even a small service offered by his devotee. Thus he is satisfied, and as soon as he is satisfied, the devotee is successful. Indeed, Lord Sri Ramchandra brought all the devotees of Ayodhya back home, back to Godhead Vaikuntha. Sukdev Goswami continued, the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are inconceivable. He has appeared in the form of Narayan in the land of Bharatvarsha at the place known as Badrikashram to favor his devotees by teaching them religion, knowledge, renunciation, spiritual power, sense control, and freedom from false ego. He is advanced in the opulence of spiritual assets, and he engages in executing austerity until the end of this millennium. This is the process of self realization. In his own book, known as Narad Pancharatra, Bhagwan Narad has very vividly described how to work to achieve the ultimate goal of life, devotion, also knowledge, and through execution of the mystic yoga system. He has also described the glories of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The great sage Narad instructed the tenants of this transitional literature to Saurni Manu in order to teach those inhabitants of Bharatvarsha who strictly follow the principles of Varnashram Dharma how to achieve the devotional service of the Lord. Thus Narad Muni, along with the other inhabitants of Bharatvarsha, always engage in the service of Nar Narayan, and he chants as follows. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Nar Narayan, the best of all saintly persons, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the most self controlled and self realized. He is free from false prestige, and he is the asset of persons who have no material possessions. He is the spiritual master of all Paramhamsas, who are the most exalted human beings, and he is the master of the self realized. Let me offer my repeated obeisances at his lotus feet. Narad, the most powerful saintly sage, also worships Narayan by chanting the following mantras. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the master of all the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this visible cosmic manifestation. Yet he is completely free from false vestige. Although to the fullest he appears to have accepted a material body like us. He is unaffected by bodily tribulations like hunger, thirst, and fatigue. Although he is the witness who sees everything, his senses are unpolluted by the objects he sees. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto that unattached, pure witness of the world, the Supreme Soul, the personality of Godhead. O my Lord, Master of all mystic yoga, this is the explanation of the yogic process spoken by Lord Brahmaji, Hiranyagarbha, who is self-realized. At the time of death, all yogis give up the material body with full detachment simply by placing their minds at your lotus feet. That is the perfection of yoga. Materialistic are generally very attached to their present bodily comforts and to the bodily comforts they expect in the future. Therefore, they are always absorbed in thoughts of their wives, children, and wealth, and are afraid of giving up their bodies, which are full of stool and urine. If a person engaged in Sri Krishna consciousness, however, is also afraid of giving up his body, what is the use of his having labored to study the Shastras? It was simply a waste of time. Therefore, O Lord, O Transcendence, kindly help us by giving us the power to execute Bhakti Yoga so that we can control our restless mind and fix them upon you. We are all inflicted by your illusory energy. Therefore, we are very attached to the body, which is full of stool and urine, and to anything related with the body, except for devotional service. There is no way to give up this attachment. Therefore, kindly bestow upon us this benediction. It is a tract of land known as Bharatvarsha. As in Nilabhatsvarsha, there are many mountains and rivers. Some of the mountains are known as Malaya, Mangalprastha, Mainak, Trikuta, Rishabh, Kutak, Kolaka, Saya, Devagiri, Rasamukha, Shiv Saila, Venkat, Mahendra Varithra, Vindhya Suktiman, Saagiri, Pariyatra, Drone, Chitraketu, Govardhan, Revatak, Kakuga, Nila, Gokamukha, Indrakila, and Kamagiri. Besides this, there are many other hills with many large and small rivers falling from their slopes. Two of the rivers, the Brahmaputra and the Sona, are called Nadas or main rivers. These are other great rivers that are very prominent: Chandrapas, Tamraparni, Avtadot, Kartamal, Vyasi, Kaveri, Veni, Payasvini, Sarkar Varta, Tungabhadra, Krishnalvenya, Bhimamarathi, Marathi, Marathi, Godavari, Nidhi Vindhya, Payoshni, Tapi, Reva, Surasa, Narmada, Charmavati, Mahanandi, Veda Smriti, Shikulya, Tisham, Kausiki, Mandakini, Yamuna, Saraswati, Dasadvati, Gomati, Saryu, Rohasavati, Saptavati, Susoma, Satadru, Chandrabhog, Madhu, Marudvartha, Vitasa, Vasiki, and Vishwa. The inhabitants of Bharatvarsha are purified because they always remember these rivers. Sometimes they chant the names of these rivers as mantras, and sometimes they go directly to the rivers to touch them and bathe in them. Thus, the inhabitants of Bharatvarsha become purified. The people who take birth in this tract of land are divided according to the qualities of material nature, the modes of goodness, satogun, passion, rajogun, and ignorance, tamagun. Some of them are born as exalted personalities, some are ordinary human beings, and some are extremely abominable. But in Bharatvarsha, one takes birth exactly according to one's past karma. If one's position is ascertained by a bona fide spiritual master and one is properly trained to engage in the service of Lord Shri Vishnu, according to the four social divisions Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra, and the four spiritual divisions Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanpras, and Sannyas, one's life become perfect. After many births, when the results of one's past activities mature, one gets an opportunity to associate with pure devotees. Then one is able to cut the knot of bondage to ignorance, which bound him because of very fruitive activities. As a result of associating with devotees, one gradually renders service to Lord Vasudeva, who is transactional, free from attachment to the material world, beyond the mind and words, and independent of everything else. That Bhakti Yoga, devotional service to Lord Vasudeva, is the real path of liberation. Since the human form of life is a sublime position for spiritual realization, all the demigods in heaven speak in this way. How wonderful it is for these human beings so have been born in the land of Bharatvarsha. They must have executed pious acts of austerity in the past, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself must have been pleased with them. Otherwise, how could they engage in devotional service in so many ways? We demigods can only aspire to achieve human birth in Bharatvarsha to execute devotional service, but these human beings are already engaged there. The demigods continued after performing the very difficult task of executing Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, undergoing austerities, observing vows, and giving charity. We have achieved this position as inhabitants of the heavenly planets. But what is the value of this achievement? Here we are certainly very engaged in material sense gratification, and therefore we can hardly remember the lotus feet of Lord Narayan. Indeed, because of our excessive sense gratification, we have almost forgotten his lotus feet. A short life in the land of Bharatvarsha is preferable to a life achieved in Brahmalok for millions and billions of years, because even if one is elevated to Brahmalok, he must return to repeated birth and death. Also, life in Bharatvarsha in a lower planetary system is very short, and one who lives there can elevate himself to full Sri Krishna consciousness and achieve the highest perfection, even in this short life, by fully surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Thus one attains Vaikuntha Lok, where there is neither necessity nor repeated birth in a material body. An intelligent person does not take interest in a place even in the topmost planetary systems. If the pure conquest of topics concerning the Supreme Lord's activities does not flow there, if there are not devotees engaged in service on the banks of such a river of pity, or if there are no festivals of Sankirtan Yajna to satisfy the Lord, especially since Sankirtan Yajna is recommended in this age. Bharatvarsha offers the proper land and circumstances in which to execute devotional service, which can free one from the results of jnana and karma. If one obtains a human body in the land of Bharatvarsha with clear sensory organs with which to execute the Sankirtan Yajna, but in spite of this opportunity, he does not take to devotional service. He is certainly like liberated forest animals and birds that are careless and are therefore again bound by a hunter. In India, Bharatvarsha, there are many worshippers of the demigods, the various officials appointed by the Supreme Lord, such as Indra, Chandra, and Surya, all of whom are worshipped differently. The worshippers offer the demigods their oblations, considering the demigods part and parcels of the whole, the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts these offerings and gradually raises the worshippers to the real standard of devotional service by fulfilling their desires and aspirations. Because the Lord is complete, offers the worshippers the benedictions they desire, even if they worship only part of His transitional body. The Supreme Personality of Godhead fulfills the material desires of a devotee who approach Him with such motives, but He does not bestow benedictions upon the devotee that will cause him to demand more benedictions again. However, the Lord willingly gives the devotee shelter at his own lotus feet, even though such a person does not aspire for it, and that shelter satisfied all his desires. That is the Supreme Personality's special mercy. We are now living in the heavenly planets, undoubtedly as a result of our having performed ritualistic ceremonies, pious activities, and yasnas, and having studied the Vedas. However, our lives here will one day be finished. We pray that at that time, if any merit remains from our pious activities, we may again take birth in Bharatvarsha as a human being, able to remember the lotus feet of the Lord. The Lord is so kind that He personally comes to the land of Bharatvarsha and expands the good fortunes of His people. Sri Sukdev Goswami said, "My dear king, in the opinion of some learned scholars, 8 smaller islands surrounding Jambudvip, when the sons of Maharaj Sagar were searching all over the world by their lost horse, they dug up the earth, and in this way, 8 adjoining islands come into existence. The names of these islands are Swarna Prastha, Chandra Sukla, Avartan, Ramna Kumandarina, Panchajanya, Simhal, and Nanka. My dear King Parikshit, O best of the descendants of Bharat Maharaj, I have thus described to you, as I myself have been instructed, the island of Bharatvarsha and its adjoining island. These are the islands that constitute Jambudvip. The Sindha Bhaktivedanta purpose of the fifth canto, 19th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled A Description of the Island of Jambudvip. Chapter 20, Studying the Structure of the Universe. In this chapter, there is a description of various islands, beginning with Blacksdeep and the oceans that surround them. There is also a description of the location and dimensions of the mountain known as Local Lok. The island of Palak which is twice as broad as Jambudvip, is surrounded by an ocean of salt water. The master of this island is Idamajva, one of the sons of Maharaj Priyabhat. The island is divided into seven regions, each with a mountain and a large river. The second island is called Salmalidipa. It is surrounded by an ocean of liquid and is 32 lakhs miles wide, twice as wide as Palaksadi. The master of this land is Yasnavaho, one of the sons of Maharaj Priyabhat. Like Palaksadi, this island is also divided into seven regions, each with a mountain and a very large river. The inhabitants of this island worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Chandratma. The third island, which is surrounded by an ocean of clarified butter and is also divided into seven regions, is called Kusadev. Its master is Hiranyaratra, another son of Maharaj Priyabhat, and its inhabitants worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Agni, the fire god. The width of this island is 64 lakhs miles, or in other words, twice as with the Salmalidvipa. The fourth island of Karunchadvip, which is surrounded by an ocean of milk, is 12 1 crore 28 lakh miles away, wide and is also divided like the old others into seven regions, each with a large mountain and a large river. The master of this island is Kastvaprastha, another sons of Maharaj Priyabhat. The inhabitants of this island worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of water. The fifth island, Sokadev, which is 25 crore 2 crore 56 lakh miles wide, is surrounded by the ocean of Yoghat. His master is Medhatithi, another sons of Maharaj Priyabhat. It is also divided into seven regions, each with a large mountain and a large river. Its inhabitants worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Vayu air. The sixth island, Puskwar Dev, which is twice as wide as the previous island, is surrounded by an ocean of clear water. His master is Vithiyotra, another sons of Maharaj Priyabhat. The island is divided into by a large mountain named Manasota. The inhabitants of this island worship Shambhu, another feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Beyond Puskara Dev, there are two islands, one always lit by the sunshine and the other always dark. Between them is a mountain called Lokalok, which is situated 1 billion miles from the edge of the universe. Lord Narayan, expanding his opulence, resides upon this mountain. The area beyond Lokalok mountain is called Alokvarsha, and beyond Alokvarsha is a pure destination of persons who desire liberation. Vertically, The sun globe is situated just in the middle of the universe. In Antariksha, the space between Bhurlok and Bhuvarlok, the distance between the sun and the circumference of Antagolok, the globe of the universe, is estimated to be 25 koti yojanas, 2 billion miles. Because the sun enters the universe and divides the sky, it is known as Martanda, and because it is produced from Hiranyagarbha, the body of the Mahatattva, it is also called Hiranyagarbha. Text 1 Sisuka Vacha. The great sage Sukdev Goswami said, hereafter I shall describe the dimensions, characteristics, and forms of the sixth island, beginning with the island of Palaksa. As Sumeru mountain is surrounded by Jambudvip, Jambudvip is also surrounded by an ocean of salt water. The breadth of Jambudvip is 1 lakh yojanas, 8 lakh miles, and the breadth of the salt water ocean is the same. As a moat around a fort is sometimes surrounded by garden-like forests, the saltwater ocean surrounding Jambudvip is itself surrounded by Palkasvip. The breadth of Palkasvip is twice that of the saltwater ocean. In other words, 2 lakh yojanas, 1 lakh, 1 crore, 6 lakh miles, 16 lakh miles. On Palaksadweep, there is a tree shining like gold and as tall as a jumbo tree on Jambudweep. As its roots is a fire with 7 flames. It is because this tree is a Palaksa tree that the island is called Palaksadweep. Palaksadweep was governed by Indramajiva, one of the sons of Maharaj Priyabhat. He endowed the 7 islands with the names of his 7 sons, divided the island among the same, and then retired from active life to engage in the devotional service of the Lord. The 7 islands are named according to the names of those 7 sons: Shiva, Yava, Subhadra, Santa, Shema, Amrita, and Abhay. In those 7 tracts of land, there are 7 mountains and 7 rivers. The mountains are named Manikuta, Vajrakuta, Indrasen, Jyotisman, Suparna, Hiranastiva, and Megamala. And the rivers are named Aruna, Nirman, Angirashi, Savitri, Suptabhata, Ritambhara, and Satyambhara. One can immediately be free from material contamination by touching or bathing in those rivers. And the 4 castes of people who live in Palakswadweep, the Himsas, Patangas, Udarvyans, and Satyangas, purify themselves in that way. The inhabitants of Palakswadweep live for 1000 years. They are beautiful like the demigods, and they also beget children like the demigods. By completely performing the ritualistic ceremonies mentioned in the Vedas and by worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead as represented by the Sun God, they attain the Sun, which is a heavenly planet. This is a mantra by which the inhabitants of Palaksadev worship the Supreme Lord. Let us take shelter of the Sun God, who is a reflection of Lord Sri Vishnu, the all expanding Supreme Personality of Godhead, the oldest of all persons. Vishnu is the only worshipable Lord. He is the Vedas, He is religion, and He is the origin of all auspicious and inauspicious results. O King, longevity, sensory prowess, physical and mental strength, intelligence, and bravery are naturally and equally manifested in all the inhabitants of the five islands headed by Plakswadip. Plakswadip is surrounded by an ocean of sugarcane juice, equal in breadth to the island itself. Similarly, there is then another island, Salmali Deep, twice as broad as Plakswadip, 4 lakh yojanas or 32 lakh miles, and surrounded by an equally broad body of water called Suraskara, the ocean that tastes like liquor. On Salmali Dweepa, there is a Salmali tree from which the island takes its name. That tree is as broad and tall as the Palaksa tree. In other words, 100 yojanas, 800 miles, broad and 1100 yojanas, 8800 miles. Tall learned scholars say that this gigantic tree is the residence of Garuda, the king of all birds and carrier of Lord Shri Vishnu. In that tree, Garuda offers Lord Vishnu his Vedic prayers. The son of Maharaj Priyavrat, named Yasnabahu, the master of Salmali Deepa, divided the island into 7 tracts of land, which he gave to his 7 sons. The names of those divisions, which corresponded to the names of the sons, as Surochan, Somanasya, Ramnak, Devarsha, Paribhadra, Apyayana, and Avnijita. In those tracts of lands, there are 7 mountains: Swarsa, Satravinga, Vamdev, Kunda, Mukunda, Pushpavarsha, and Sahasrasuti. There are also 7 rivers: Anumati, Sinivali, Saraswati, Puho, Rajani, Nanda, and Raka. They are still existing. Strictly following the curse of Varnashram Dharma, the inhabitants of those islands were known as Sutidharas, Viryaradharas, Vasundharas, and Ishandharas. All worship the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, named Som, the Moon God. Hare Krishna.